evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dalsan TV English News Bulletin. I'm your presenter, Ifrah Noor. Now let's have a look at our top stories for the day. Somali military court sentences 27 soldiers for escaping battlefields in Galmudug region. Jubaland State Vice President inspects Madamato base in Kismayo town, recently withdrawn by Ethiopian troops. Man burns pregnant wife to death in Mogadishu, shocking residents. Saudi Arabian delegation arrives in Mogadishu for opening ceremony of humanitarian aid center. Welcome back, dear viewers. Now let's delve into the full bulletin. The military court in Galmudug State has recently concluded the trial of 27 soldiers from Somalia's armed forces who were captured after escaping the battlefield. These soldiers, accused of desertion and fleeing from their duty, were apprehended in Dusamareb, the capital of Galmudug State. The court, known for its strict rulings, handed down harsh sentences to the soldiers, with only one soldier receiving a different punishment for misappropriation. Our reporter Ahmed Abdul Rashid has more on this story.
The military court in Galmudug State has concluded the trial of 27 soldiers from Somalia's armed forces. The soldiers, accused of desertion and escaping the battlefield, were apprehended in Lusamareb, the capital of Galmudug State. Known for its strict rulings, the court handed out harsh sentences to the soldiers, with only one soldier receiving a different punishment for misappropriation. The court, presided over by the military court chairman in Galmudug, adapted army laws to address the issue of soldier desertion. While one soldier was sentenced for misappropriation, the remaining 26 soldiers were given a uniform punishment of 5 years in military prison. These soldiers cited various reasons for their desertion, primarily attributing their actions to the unbearable conditions on the battlefields and in remote areas. Additionally, they mentioned familial challenges that further compelled them to flee the war zone. The Somali government had concentrated a substantial number of troops in the war-torn areas of the Mudug region, which has endured prolonged conflict. The taxing nature of the war led to a sense of desperation among some soldiers, prompting them to flee the battlefield. However, desertion during times of war is considered a severe offense and undermines the integrity of the armed forces.
ومالين كلا يكون دواقست حكم لجوف لي أسكر صوب النيو فريمها سشر عدراء محكمة عيدا ماذا قلب كسيدا غيبت الجلمدو أي صوص صارتي حكم كتضبي لواتن أسكري وكتر سنة من الترجة الصومالية كواسيو بنية بركة يبقى حد الأولاد اللي حل ساري إلى لنتودا قدوميها محكمة عيدا ماذا قلب كسيدا غيبت الجلمدو كشان لدحي عبد الله أبوكر حسن عبد الله داري أو كسوغن فريمها قبل لذا مدوق يجلجدود أي كل واقعي حكم كمحكمة ديد أو جارية من 5 سنة أو حبس عيدنا
ujeedo ku dhawaaqis xukun maxkamadeed maxkamaddu markay aragtay eedda uu soo jeediyay xafiiska xeer ilaalinta ciidamada qalabka sida uu ku soo jeediyay eedeysanayaasha hoos ku xusan maxkamaddu markay aragtay qiraalka eedeysanayaasha oo ay ka horqirteen maxkamadda horteeda isla markaasna ku qirteen inay ka soo baxeen furinta cadawga maxkamaddu markay dhageysatay doodii qareenka u doodayay oo ku dooday loo fiiriyo sifaalaha dambiga fuudeey maxkamadda waxaa u caddaatay dable xooga 60399 Cabduqaadir Maxamed Cabduqaadir Shariif 23
Jubaland State First Vice President Mohamed Siad Aden inspected the Madamato forward operating base in Kismayo town, which was recently vacated by Ethiopian soldiers serving under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, as part of an ongoing troops drawdown. Mr. Aden received briefings and updates from Somali security forces manning the base during his visit. Our reporter has more on the story.
Somalia's Jubaland State First Vice President Mohamed Siad Aden had inspected the Madamato forward operating base, which was recently left by Ethiopian soldiers serving under the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia in the ongoing troops drawn down. During his visit, Aden received briefing and update from Somali security forces manning the base. The officers debriefed the Deputy President, who is also the acting president, about the status of the base and how to maintain it after the withdrawal of Ethiopian troops. Somali National Army 43rd Division under the command of General Mohammed Mohamud received the base from outgoing Ethiopian troops on Friday in a ceremony attended by Yusuf Dumal, the regional security minister. The last batch of African Transition Mission in Somalia troops are expected to leave Somalia by the end of this year, 2024, in line with the United Nations Security Council resolution mandating the withdrawal of peacekeepers' troops from Somalia. At least 5,000 troops have left Somalia in the year 2023, with handover of 8 forward operating bases, including the Presidential Palace, Villa Somalia, in the capital Mogadishu, housing the residence of President and the office of the Prime Minister. The troops also relinquished security responsibilities of the parliament, which is located within the Presidential Palace. Somalia government is fighting with Al-Shabaab militant group who have been causing instability since 2007 in the Horn of Africa nation. Despite facing huge military setback in central and southern Somalia, the group still poses a threat to Somali people and often executes bombs attacks across the nation, including in the capital Mogadishu. Despite challenges, including earlier defeats against the militant group, the Somali government and its forces, supported by the local clan militias, have been vital in regaining control of several years.
Shock and grief have gripped the residents of a Darkinle district in Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, following a tragic incident where an expectant mother was burned to death by her estranged husband. The victim, Lul Abdulaziz, tragically fell victim to the terrifying act committed by her husband, Saeed Maalim Dawood, who fled the scene of the crime after perpetrating the heinous act. Terrified residents have shared the account, expressing their horror at the incident. Our reporter has more on the story.
A shock and grief has engulfed the residents of the Darkinle district in Somalia's capital Mogadishu following a tragic incident where an unexpected mother was burned to death by her estranged husband. According to terrified residents who spoke to the media, the victim Lul Abdulaziz was allegedly set fire by her husband, identified as Said Maalim Dawood, who escaped from the scene of crime after committing the heinous bizarre act. Police reports said that the suspect locked the victim in a room before setting her place before neighbors were alerted by the distress call for help from the helpless mother. However, the woman died upon arrival at hospital. Police spokesperson Sadiq Aden Dodisho said security officers have launched a manhunt for the man who disappeared, adding that he will be brought before justice. Gender-based violence are mostly common in Somalia, Horn of African nation, reeling from decades of civil war that has crippled critical sectors like justice system. However, human rights activities and the United Nations have heightened calls to address the sprawling gender-based violence method in women and vulnerable people with the society.
A delegation from Saudi Arabia has arrived at Mogadishu Aden Abdullah International Airport for the opening ceremony of the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center in the capital. The delegation is engaging in discussions and holding meetings related to humanitarian aid, initiatives and relief efforts in Somalia.
Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre has initiated a series of projects funded by Saudi Arabia that will address critical areas such as health, education, water and aid. These projects, implemented by the King Salman Center for Relief and Charity Activities, come with a price tag of $40 million, signaling a significant commitment from the kingdom. The Prime Minister emphasized the positive impact these initiatives will have on social services in Somalia, particularly in meeting the urgent needs of the population such as healthcare, education and access to clean water. In a ceremony attended by Dr. Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Al Rabia, the advisor to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the General Inspector of the King Salman Center for Relief and Charity Activities, Dr. Abdullah conveyed Saudi Arabia's unwavering commitment to supporting the Somali people and their government across various domains. Expressing gratitude, Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre extended his appreciation to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for its continuous support and diverse forms of assistance provided to the people and Somali government.
بدء أن أرحب بجميع المشاركين في هذا الحفل المبارك، متمنيا للوفد القادم من مركز الملك سلمان للإغاثة والأعمال الإنسانية ومنظمة التعاون الإسلامي مقاما طيبا في بلدهم الثاني
الإنسانية سيظل حريصا على مواصلة دعمه الإنساني للشعب الصومالي الشقيق. وختاما أتقدم لكم جميعا بجزيل الشكر على حسن الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة في بلدنا الثاني الصومال، سائلا المولى العلي القدير لجمهورية الصومال وشعبها الوفي التقدم والازدهار والأمن والأمان.
The project supported by Saudi Arabia will play a key role in addressing the pressing needs of Somali communities, which have long struggled with limited access to quality healthcare, education and water. The significant financial commitment from the kingdom reflects its dedication to improving the well-being of and livelihoods of the Somali people.
Dear viewers, that concludes our news bulletin for tonight. Kindly stay connected to Dalsan TV platforms for more updates. We wish you a lovely evening.